Brian David Gilbert. Actually, confession time. The video title, it's technically untrue, but it's not a lie, nor is it clickbait. No, it's aspirational, forward thinking. See, Brian David Gilbert is not my best friend. Yet. But he will be. He has to be. It's my new life goal, my raison d'etre. Building a sustainable YouTube career with a healthy audience?
Get out of here!
Courting Brian David Gilbert is what my art degree is for, Dad. Look, I have friends. I definitely have friends. And they're lovely. They're fine. Probably. But none of them are Brian David Gilbert. That's a problem for reasons that will become all too clear. Soon you too will invariably comprehend to a profound degree that Brian David Gilbert needs to get over here and be my best friend.
I'm not your friend, and you have no say over what I do with my body.
Well, that just makes me an underdog, and who doesn't love a good underdog story starring Peter Dinklage? Let's make it happen! I did your title thing! Did you like it? Tell me you like it. This isn't a holiday special. So if you're not watching Brian David Gilbert, then screw you jerk! Brian David Gilbert is a name I've said so many times it's already beginning to lose all meaning. It's also the name of the eternal goddess of sunshine, best known for his Polygon series, Unraveled, wherein he says this.
I just saved your ass with Monopoly!
As well as this.
Humans are real squishy, really, when you think about it.
And also this.
How many frames does a gamer game in the game frame mainframe? That's a good question.
And also this.
Why do Piranha Plant have bone in it?
And also this.
I honestly do not have the time to unpack this bullshit.
And also this.
Luigi and Waluigi are the same person.
I've often thought all of those things. See, we're meant for each other. That's just juice. Nah, you'd be forgiven for thinking it's a show about singularly undoing the mission of hashtag Team Trees, but a much better elevator pitch for Unraveled is game theory, but in a studio, and funnier, because it takes itself both more and less seriously, if that makes sense. It's like in The Muppet Show, where trying hard and failing hard to make the show is the show, which makes it good. Oh my god! Brian David Gilbert is MatPat's Muppet! I'm teasing, MatPat. You know I love you. You know I do. You know I do. We'll get to you later. Now, if you're anything like me, jumping into a new series is tricky, because you only have so many parasocial relationship spoons. But YouTube's algorithm would not stop spamming my recommendations with Brian David Gilbert because it believes in fate and knows we belong together. And when I finally caved, well...
Skyrim book report! Skyrim book report!
What is this and where can I get more? God knows I binged all of Unraveled right then and there. I was done playing hard to get, and I'd never seen a series that seemed so uniquely designed to personally flood Scotty Schlueter's brain with all the dopamine.
Look at this Galumba! Riveting! It's me. He is a fart man. You Norda boy. Violation. 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 Surprise! I lulled you into a false sense of security. It's time for a mini-game I like to call, If I Were a Castlevania Game, What Title Would I Be?
Mine, for the record, is Overture of a Rejection Letter from Your Dream Job, which is also the title of my forthcoming autobiography. See, video games are silly, but so is real life. They're just silly in very discordant and incompatible ways. New donkers aren't tall because bananas, MatPat. I love you, don't hate me. What Brian David Gilbert does is own that dissonance, tap into it, and what he finds, well...
Either Sonic is a god or could kill God, and I do not care if there is a difference!
Be my friend. Now don't get me wrong, I'd love to be friends with all these other contributors. They're lovely, they're fine, probably, but none of them are Brian David Gilbert. Wouldn't it be great if Brian David Gilbert had his own YouTube channel? Wouldn't that be something? That'd be cool, am I right? Like if there was one YouTuber I wish had their own channel, it definitely have to be...
Hi, my name is Brian, I have shingles, so I'm told. I'm alone in my apartment.
Got the Saturday shorts on a Saturday night. Got the Saturday shorts on, I'm feeling alright.
Space heaters
I
cut off my hands, I cut off my hands. Put some Old Bay on an egg. I am becoming a lake. I have now become a lake.
Oh my god! Oh, that's so cool!
I think Brian David Gilbert is my new favorite band. How to describe the Brian David Gilbert YouTube channel? It's like if Bill Wirtz and SNL had a broke surrealist bastard child. It is the most Baltimore thing since Corruption, The Wire, and my inability to stop the beat. Here, Brian David Gilbert demonstrates his truly eclectic tastes. Topics such as shorts, demon jorts, boxer shorts, Baltimore's, and nothing else. Psych! More demons!
2030 is when I will die. The scene of my death is incredibly bleak. New videos at the end of every week.
Brian David Gilbert, Renaissance man, be my friend. To sum these up as music videos feels inappropriate. They are transcendental meditations, and watching them you do achieve a sort of bass-ackwards nirvana, one where you expressly don't find balance, only the turbulent nightmarescape of the void.
That's the name of my autobiography.
My doctor gave me pills and told me I should get some rest, and to burn sage in my apartment to make sure the ghosts were addressed, and to stay away from the number 6, and to pass a cat under a bridge, and to tie a leak to the affected sores, but mostly just to sleep.
See, it's so genuinely disorienting in the best possible...
Dance break!
Dude, we are vibing so hard right now, you just don't even know it yet.
I am going to throw myself into the sea.
Keep your feet up.
It's numb. I can't feel my feet. I've got a fin.
Go, Scotty, go.
Okay.
Oh dear.
And if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go throw myself into the ocean now.
See, we're the same, you and I, my beautiful, special boy. Speaking of subversion, let's walk it back. How does someone like this end up working at Polygon? As with most of life's persistent questions, the Brian David Gilbert YouTube channel has you covered.
Hello, my name is Brian David Gilbert, and I am applying to become a Polygon.com video producer. I think I'd be an asset to the team, don't you, sir? I like making videos, I like to think, and I like to fight baddies with my best pal Link. I used to live in Baltimore, but now I'm in New York.
Hey, Scotty's brain here. Or, you know, what's left of it. I'm here to tell you that that was dope!
Till I'm destitute. I love Samus, I love Fox McCloud, and I love Waluigi, Toad and Tingle, Olimar, and also Waluigi again.
Now, considering his, for lack of a better term, lyrical background, it makes perfect sense that this would be a logical endgame for Brian David Gilbert. Yeah, it's not even a name anymore, it's just noises. Anyway, here's what he did.
I want to be the best, 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 best.
Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, Caterpie, Butterfree, Wurmple, Scorbunny, Sobble, and Grookey, Licky Tongue, and Licky Licky.
Yeah, back at PAX East, Unraveled sort of crescendoed into this live show wherein Brian David Gilbert performed the perfect PokeRap. That's a revised PokeRap that features all 800 some odd God even knows Pokemon. He does in 9 minutes what Game Freak couldn't do in a whole ass game. He lays out exactly how impossibly difficult the task is, then just does it anyway. And also, it's like a really fun, good song.
Make sure to stay away from that Pharaoh seed, and that's just one name people have for weed.
But to just leave it at that would ignore that the perfect PokeRap is just the finale of one of the funniest, most moving sets of stand-up comedy I've seen all year. Not only is it the perfect song, it's the perfect set.
The original PokeRap is a mid-2000s suburban mother's conception of rap. I feel comfortable calling it this because the only difference between me and a mid-2000s suburban mother is a few more trips to Nordstrom's.
Here's why that's perfect. YouTube's a space with a ton of video game comedy. From music, to parody, to podcasting, to Mystery Science Theater 3000ing. There's just not a lot of video game stand-up. I'm talking setups, punchlines, planting, payoffs. It's rare because it's hard. But Brian David Gilbert, man, that broke surrealist bastard pulled it off with aplomb.
Kevin said he only wanted Terry because he knew that Terry was my favorite Pokemon, and he, and I quote, said that he wanted me to give up something I loved. Which is legitimately a wild thing for an 8-year-old to request. Which is why it doesn't surprise me that Kevin Punt is in jail now.
Yeah, he is. That's my best friend up there. Look, my Netflix queue is like 60% stand-up. I love this stuff. I spent a good chunk of college studying this stuff. Is what I called streaming Patton Oswalt in bed with Doritos. at 4 in the morning. The thing that makes my favorite comedians is that they're storytellers, and the stories they tell coalesce into an idea. The best sets are about something, and for Brian David Gilbert's part, well...
The original PokeRap taught us the wrong lesson. It is not that we should catch them all, it is that we should love the ones we catch. But again, I do still need you to know those Pokemon names, because if you don't, Matt will murder me. Are we ready to perform this?
Now, Brian David Gilbert will tell you that the perfect PokeRap is his magnum opus. I disagree. No, that honor could only ever belong to...
Here's that new thing that you're choosing. Get up and dance is moving.
Yeah, bummed I didn't get my invite, but that's my parents' fault for not raising me in Baltimore. That's on them. So Dance is Moving is a 7-part... well, let's call a spade a spade. It's a masterpiece. What begins as a very on-brand riff on 80s instructional dance videos metamorphoses like a freaking butterfly into... actually, I want to tell you as little as possible. You gotta experience this for yourself. There is something way bigger at play here. You do not want this spoiled. It may look like just another Brian David Gilbert goof, but to leave it at that would ignore that it's also so earnest, so raw, so uniquely YouTube. Suffice it to say that it'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. It's the freaking Guardians of the Galaxy of the internet, and it's also my favorite thing on the entire internet right now. Dance is Moving. Watch it. Watch the whole thing. Watch it in order, then watch this rotoscope someone made at the finale, then go to Brian David Gilbert's Bandcamp and download See the Day. You're welcome. The thing that's really impressive to me is that, yeah, Brian David Gilbert can do the non sequitur YouTube thing, but when he wants to say something, he's like, yo, I got something to say. Like, so much of his stuff is about something. There's a reason my Spider-Man review was really about a kid coping with anxiety and finding his own power, or why my Mario Maker vid is actually about fan ownership and how that can be complicated. That's a spoiler. I haven't released that one yet. Core thematic messaging is just something I spend a lot of time thinking about, and it's a trait I value a lot in a friend. His Sonic Bible Unraveled is about the slippery slope of fundamentalism. His Kingdom Hearts Unraveled is about how not to tell a story. His Sims Unraveled is about social isolation. Hell, in his Game of the Year equation, the biggest determinant was his mom's validation. That's hard not to read into. Even the perfect PokeRap is about the very real, very human connections we make with our digital pets. How foundational games can be to who we are as people. Cause here's the thing, Brian David Gilbert. Can I call you Brian David Gilbert? Look, Brian David Gilbert. Yeah, it's not even sounds anymore. It's like a concept, like God. It should be a sin to say it in vain. Either I've cracked the code or I found you didn't even know was there. Now, you seem like a pretty anxious guy. I don't want to freak you out or anything, but this is why you need me, man. It is a war crime to make me feel these things, and I know you know that because I know you've read the Geneva Convention in its entirety, which means you're the only one who knows for sure that I was lying through my teeth just now, which means you're the only one for me. And do not get me started on Dance is Moving, which, as you know, is about... Wait just a Gilbert damn second.
Siblings, 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 siblings. This is my sister. This is my brother. We are siblings and we care for each other.
I was right. Just for the wrong reason. Brian David Gilbert is a puppet. Just not for MatPat. For his sister, Laura Catherine Gilbert. It was always there. How did I miss it?
Oh, brah!
I get it now. You're no existentialist auteur. You're a man under an iron fist crying for help. I spent so much time focusing on my needs, what I need out of this relationship. I should have been focusing on your needs. No more. Just hang in there, Brian David Gilbert. I know what it's like. Better than anyone. You were a drama kid. I was a drama kid. You majored in creative writing. I minored in creative. Well, moving on. You made postmodern art about dealing with change. I made postmodern art about dealing with change. That will never see the light of day. And I know what it's like to be dehumanized by your own family. My siblings pulling my strings as we speak.
Never mind.
I'm the only one who can help Brian David Gilbert find himself again. But to do that, I need you, the viewer. We have to show Brian David Gilbert that help is out there. We have to show him this video. Let's make it happen. Let's make it a hashtag. Hashtag BDGBFF. Remember, that's hashtag BDGBFG. That's hashtag ABC. Hashtag BDG. Hashtag JKLMNOP. Hashtag BA Fine Arts and Creative Writing. Remember, that's hashtag ABC. Hashtag hashtag Fine Arts. Hashtag ABC. Hashtag get hot in here. Hashtag. Hi, I'm Brian David Gilbert. Damn it, Scotty Brian Schlueter. That's not my middle name. That'd make Brian David Gilbert my dad. Let's start over. I'm Hideo the Sunken Bloodletter, the world's foremost authority on parasocial relationships, with Brian David Gilbert. The thing is, parasocial relationships aren't real relationships. We all get that, right? They're definitionally one-sided. There's no give and take, no hot and cold, yes and no, in and out, up and down, wrong when it's right, black and it's white, fight and break up, kiss and make up. I genuinely lost my train of thought. My sister calls it the brain train. That's objectively a better term. My brain train's off the rails, Gage.
Well, you know what they say about that. Mine too.
So whether you're a Jake Pauler or a Jake Pauler, just remember, your favorite YouTubers, they can't love you back. Oops, was this video about something? Oh shit. And now, if I may, I'd like to speak to you, Brian David Gilbert, BDG, Horse's Trident. Daddy, I just want to say, hey, how's it going? Got any plans later? Maybe you want to go to Dairy Queen with me? I'll pick you up at 10. Hopefully you'll have seen this first, because if not, it's going to be very confusing for one of us.
Yeah, it could have been way worse.
Hey, thanks for watching. Just by watching, you are absolutely helping me achieve my real raison d'etre, making bank on YouTube. Super attainable, I know, but you can make it happen by liking, subscribing, sharing my stuff around, and following me on Twitter. Hope you like this Scott-free thing, sort of a vlogier spin-off of Boogie Woogie Doodle Boy, which means less drawing and less writing and thus less work for me, a thing I'm already a fan of. I'm not married to the format or anything, but if you do want to see more deep dives about your favorite YouTubers, big and small, let me know in the comments. And of course, if you want to see me work my butt off, the first quasi-animated episode of BWDB is right there for you. More Scott-free is on the way with some vlogs about nothing other than having a good time in Italy. Until then, forget what I said. I will see you. I do love you. Take care of yourself. Hashtag BA in Fine Arts and Creative Writing.